morning, everybody, and welcome to TSM Middle School. This is Janice. Janice, are you a middle schooler? Yeah! So here at TSM, we like to talk about life, we like to talk about God, and life with God. That's right, Janice. She's just so smart. We're really excited that you guys are joining us online. So we're here on Sundays at 11:30, but you can also join us on Instagram Live on Wednesday nights at 7, and we're also live right now on Instagram if you head over to our page there. The other thing, if you want to stay updated about when we're meeting, when we're going live, all that kind of stuff, you can text Timberline MS, all one word, to 40650, and the link for that is right below in the description for this video. So yeah, Janice, oh yes, do you have something else to add? She's very insightful. We have a lot of fun stuff for you guys today, and we hope that you enjoy our TSM Sunday. All right, bye everybody.
Hey TSM, it's Keaton. Hey, wanted to encourage you guys to sign up for summer camp. It's from May 30th until June 2nd. The cost is $300, but hey, if that's a problem for you, TSM would love to help you pay for that. So if that's a problem, just let us know. We have scholarships and stuff available, and we would love to have you come with us. Hey, if you guys want to sign up, you can register online. The link is going to be in the description below. And hey, as of now, camp's still on. I know you guys are worried in quarantine and stuff, but hey, as of now, camp's still going on, and we're still going up there and just going to party hard. So, hey, hope you guys are staying safe, staying healthy, and have a good rest of your quarantine. But hey, have something to look forward to. Sign up for camp.
Hey TSM Middle School, we miss gathering together with you guys. Hopefully we can get back to normal. Hopefully you're all staying healthy. But we have a couple worship songs for you.
We have one worship song.
Sorry, excuse me. We have one worship song. The first song we're going to do is Lean on Me, and then here it goes.
We know you guys know this one.
Yeah, we want Will running around in your house.
Yeah,
so
Will.
We need a video of that. So then the worship song we're going to do is That Was My Cross by Andrew Spada. Done this, I think, once before, so you should remember this one. deserved it. He set me free. That was my cross. That was my cross. Son of God, He came with love. He laid down His life on the cross. That was my cross. He took my place, and that was my shame. And He washed away. And now I have life inside of me. And I deserved it. Oh, He set me free. That was my cross. That was my cross. That was my cross. That was my cross. Thanks, guys. Hope to see you soon. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Over and out.
Guys, welcome to TSM Virtual, week 2. Welcome to the crib. Nice swivel chair. Anyways, no, I'm just kidding. But so glad to be here with you guys and just kind of share a little bit about my thoughts and a story with you from the Bible that we can use today. So if any of you guys, most of you guys should know, I grew up in Texas, and growing up in Texas, my mom used to work for a college that went out of business. Weird story, but it's true. And me and my brother would always have to go with her to these basketball games. And, well, we'd always get really bored, naturally. We're young, basketball's boring anyways. Sorry, J-Matt, but it's true. Anyways, so we would go outside and play. It's dark, it's cold, it's like springtime, so weather's always iffy, but we still decided to go outside and play. And naturally, 2 kids choose the best place to play, and then we decided it's a fountain, and we're gonna play tag on this like 2 foot, maybe 2 feet wide ledge, maybe. Okay, yes, naturally that's the best place to play tag. Okay, and if anyone knows me, you know I'm not coordinated at all, and literally have tagged myself out in a game of kickball. Don't ask me how it happened, but it did. Anyways, so you can see where this story is heading. Yes, I fell in, and into the middle of this fountain, and just get soaking wet. And I remember as I'm falling in, my brother goes, "Don't worry, Megan, I'll save you." And I'm like, I can just stand up. I'm short, but this fountain's not that deep. Thank you very much. And so I just stand up, and my brother goes, "Oh, I'm gonna tell Mom." And then he runs off, and I'm like, "Thank you for saving me, helping me out of the fountain. And I'm sure Mom's already gonna tell when I walk in soaking wet." So, of course, I go see my mom. I'm embarrassed. I'm cold. And I have to sit in wet clothes for the rest of the night. Because, I didn't just plan on falling into a fountain every day. So, yeah. Great story. But I knew at the time that it was probably not going to turn out super well. But I continued anyways. And here we are later. It makes for a great story. And it's really funny. But I would also like to read with you a story from our Bible of Jesus walking on water. And I think it kind of turns out the same way as my story did, in that maybe it didn't turn out the way we thought it would in the moment, but it ends really great, and it makes for a great story later. So I'm reading from Matthew 22 through 32. So read with me if you'd like. But here we go. Immediately after this, Jesus insisted that his disciples get back into the boat and cross to the other side of the lake while he sent the people home. So I'm going to pause right there and just give you a little bit of background. So right before this, Jesus had just performed the miracle of feeding 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. So that's where our story is picking up. So continuing on, it says this. After sending them home, he went up into the hills by himself to pray. Night fell while he was there alone. Meanwhile, the disciples were in trouble, far away from land, for a strong wind had risen, and they were fighting heavy waves. About 3 o'clock in the morning, Jesus came to them, walking on the water. When the disciples saw him walking on the water, they were terrified. In their fear, they cried out, "It's a ghost." But Jesus spoke to them at once. "Don't be afraid," he said. "Take courage, I am here." Then Peter called to him, "Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you." Walking on the water. "Yes, come," Jesus said. So Peter went over to the side of the boat and walked on the water toward Jesus. But when he saw the strong wind and the waves, he was terrified, and he began to sink. "Save me, Lord," he shouted. Jesus immediately reached out and grabbed him. "You have so little faith," Jesus said. "Why did you doubt me?" When they climbed back into the boat, the wind stopped. Then the disciples worshipped him. "You really are the Son of God," they exclaimed. So I just want to highlight a couple things in here that I think are kind of funny and kind of put our perspective here if we had been here. I would say if I was in this story, I would be a disciple on the boat for sure. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. It's raining. You've got these huge waves and lots of wind. And they look out and they're like, "It's a ghost." I'm like, I don't know about you, but I don't do any type of horror stories. No thriller, no suspense. Like, animated movies can get me too. So, just gonna throw that out there. So, if it was a ghost out on the water, I think I'd be passing out, personally, and just not waking up. So, naturally, that's what I would do. But I think it's kind of cool that what we have here is Peter calling out to him saying, "Is it you?" And saying, "If it is you, let me come to you." I think it's kind of cool in the fact that that's maybe not the way that we would respond, but that's how Peter does. If I'm a guy in the boat, I'd be like, this weirdo, he's gonna really go out there when it's like waves. Watch him, he's just gonna sink to the bottom. Like, what? What a weirdo. But that's not what we see happen. Actually, what we see happen is as soon as Peter takes a step out, he starts walking on water. But as the story continues, as he looks to the waves and the things that are happening outside of him, he starts to sink. He's taken his eyes off of Jesus, and as soon as he does, he sinks. But he says, "Lord, save me," and Jesus reaches a hand out and grabs him and pulls him to safety. So pretty cool story. And I don't think if I was there, I'd probably miss the whole thing because I'd be just passed out in the bag. And then 2, if I was there, I'd be like, "Peter's legit crazy. This can't be real. Somebody pinch me." But maybe that's because I don't have the same faith that Peter had. So let's take a second to dissect this. Why did Peter sink? He saw Jesus walk on the water, and as long as Peter kept his eyes on Jesus, Peter stayed afloat. It was when Peter took his eyes off of Jesus and looked at the waves rising below him that he sank. We've already pointed this out. So, what does that mean for us? Our faith and our trust must be rooted in Christ. In this time of uncertainty, especially with COVID, when there's fear, uncertainty, and frustration, we must look for Jesus and keep looking to him because ultimately he and he alone is in control of the situation. As we saw in Psalms 91, he has assured us or promised us that we have nothing to fear and there is nothing outside of his control. The same thing of what we see in the story. As soon as they step on the boat, Jesus calms the winds and the storm that they've been battling all night. So, I also think I'd like to point out that in this passage, he is even seen assuring Peter, again, to take heart. "Do not be afraid, I'm here." So what a powerful message, especially for us in this time of COVID-19, when all we see is fear, when all we see around us is all the bad things that are happening, of all the frustrations, and again, all our fear. But he says, take heart, do not be afraid, I am here. Secondly, what does it mean to have faith? C.S. Lewis, who wrote a lot of our really great stories, the Chronicles of Narnia, the Screwtape Letters, and Mere Christianity, he says, faith is the art of holding on to things in spite of our changing moods and circumstances. During this time, what are you holding on to? What priorities do you have? In other words, during this time of uncertainty and chaos, similar to the storm that we see Peter encounters, are we desiring or wanting to be with Jesus, to walk with him in our challenge? Just like we saw Peter do. Peter's desire to be with Jesus was far greater than his fear of what could potentially happen if he walks out on that water in the storm. Wow, I just think that that'd be so cool, that if my faith in Jesus was so strong that I didn't care about what was happening, because all I had, my eyes and desire, was set on Jesus. Lastly, are we choosing to worry or to worship? In our story, as soon as Jesus gets on the boat, the disciples start to worship him. Again, if I had been there, if I was a disciple on that boat, I'd be passed out. Honestly, like the ghost thing would have probably killed me. Let's be real. I scream even in commercials. So, I wouldn't even been there. And my first thought, as soon as they got on the boat, might not have been to worship them, or Peter, or Jesus, or any type of worship would not be my first thought. Actually, my first thought would have been like, are you crazy? I have 100 questions. How did that work? But again, it's another powerful message in terms of choosing to worship instead of worry, and instead of asking 100 questions. So how does this all relate to us right now in this time of COVID-19? Maybe some of you feel like you have a lot of extra time, or are wondering how you're going to spend it. Now is the time for you to look toward Jesus and continue to look toward him. This can be through devotionals, prayer, reading the Bible, finding ways to continuing to serve those around you. I've had some great students send me pictures of things that they're doing to encourage others by writing messages on their driveway with chalk. What a great way to continue to look towards Jesus and encourage those around them as well. Just because it might seem like our lives and the world has come to a halt, it doesn't mean our time with Jesus needs to as well. So what does it look like for you to put aside your worry and choose to worship Jesus instead? I think it's easy to think about worship as this thing that we only do on Sundays, or only when we're singing along to a song. But worship is so much bigger and so much better than that. It is an act of showing love, of showing grace and kindness. It is, as Paul puts it, doing it for the glory of God. The great thing about worship is that it doesn't have to be done in a certain way, and it certainly doesn't have to be done at a certain time. So worship, again, can be our standard praying, singing, and reading the Bible, but it can also be things like dancing, stating what you're grateful for during a time that seems like there's nothing to be grateful for, serving others, giving our time, our talent, our treasure, or giving words of encouragement. Or sometimes it might even be writing a card to someone who needs it during a time of stay-at-home orders. So I have 2 questions for you guys that I want you to answer. The first one is, what are ways you connect with or are looking towards Jesus during this time? And the second one is, what worries do you have about this time or about COVID-19 that you can put aside to worship Jesus instead? What might that look like for you to put aside your worry and choose worship instead? Before we end, I'm going to change things up just a little bit. In our Instagram bio, there's a link to a song, or even below, there should be a link to a song from Chris Rinsma. He's an awesome artist. And in this song, it's titled Son of God. I'd like for you to just take 3 minutes and listen to what the song is saying. And I think the song is reassuring us that there is nothing in this world, even darkness and disease, that the Son of God cannot defeat. It's a beautiful reminder that he walks among us, and he is telling us, do not be afraid. Take courage, for I am here. Don't forget those words, guys, as we go through this week. Take courage, for I am here. Remember, Jesus is walking with you, even when it feels like he might be distant. Don't forget them. We love you guys, and we're praying for you, and hopefully we'll be back together soon. Check it out. We'll see you next week, or check us out on Instagram Live. Bye, guys.